afternoon, Ralph.
Hi, good afternoon,
Yeah.
Michael. Thanks for inviting me.
Yes, it's good to see you in Cebu.
Likewise. Always happy to be here
Yeah.
in Cebu.
Okay, so I was able to attend one of your seminars and I was quite impressed.
Thank you.
So Guthrie Jensen, no? This is a
Yes.
family-owned training firm.
Yes. We've been around since 1979, so I'm a consultant for Guthrie Jensen. We conduct several leadership programs and communication, sales, etc. So we have 120 training programs. And of course, I had the privilege of working with you and meeting you, of course, in a recent workshop for family businesses. All right.
Was able to learn a lot, actually. We discussed family corporations.
Yeah.
And I was quite impressed that the distributor we were dealing with was able to roll out such a program, because usually it's at this level, usually sales trainings or management trainings, but this one covers on deeper elements involving family dynamics, which is very interesting.
Very interesting kasi of course when you look at the Philippines, no, 80% of enterprises in the Philippines are still family-owned. Kaya it's always a good conversation at the very least to have, and then move from conversation to making policies for a family business, especially.
Okay. But before that, maybe we can delve a bit with your background, your humble roots. I understand you were a reporter, a journalist at some point in your career. So maybe we can walk through your career, how you started. Humble roots.
Yeah, this is funny for me kasi I normally I'm used to interviewing people. So I feel like a fish out of water being interviewed by Michael this time, no. So
Baliktad.
Baliktad. So I used to be a journalist, fresh from college. Literally 1 week after graduation, I reported to work as a journalist. I was a TV reporter for GMA News for a good 5 years. Best years of my life, so to speak, when you're young and a bit naive pa siguro, if I may say. But, you know, it was a good time, no? Kasi when you join GMA News and Public Affairs, talagang we really believed in serbisyong totoo, journalism na, as we used to say always, diba, yung walang kinikilingan, walang pinoprotektahan. And then, 5 years into the job, I felt that I was being given another calling. The direction, of course, brought me to the corporate world, and I joined Guthrie Jensen. So, Guthrie Jensen being the leading management training consulting firm in the Philippines. So, I was very excited for the opportunity to contribute to the organization. I've been with Guthrie Jensen for the past 15 years, no? As you say in Filipino, doon ako tinubuan ng ugat or roots at the same time. But, you know, that's also where I spread my wings the most, which came as a pleasant surprise. And I haven't looked back since then.
But as a kid, what was your dream job?
Yeah. So, you're right, no? I wanted to be a journalist, actually, when I was young, no? So, as early as maybe elementary, getting into high school, I was very much attracted, no, with the idea of journalism as a public service. And it should be, it still is. Of course, all my training na since maybe grade 6, grade 7 high school was really geared towards becoming a journalist, no? So high school, you know, you may have heard of many journalists now who started off with their school paper. So I started off with a school paper in my school. Of course, college, in the university, I took broadcast communication in UP. So my training talaga was geared towards that, no? I wrote for the Philippine Daily Inquirer when I was in high school and early college. And also did radio programs in UP kasi we had the radio station in UP. And doon ako na-discover actually, and eventually I became a reporter for
But
GMA.
what sort of subjects did you cover? Everything? Politics? Business?
All around. And GMA, or I think it's an industry practice naman, no? You are you are exposed to different kinds of stories, no? So when I started off as a reporter, I started out as a police reporter. So they put you in the graveyard shift. You cover all sorts of crimes, so to speak. And you learn the ropes through that. I did human interest stories, of course, breaking news, definitely, no? So one of my memorable stories was covering the typhoons, unfortunately, in Quezon Province in 2004, no? So yung sa Real, Infanta, and General Nakar, no? So as a journalist, it was both touching and at the same time, syempre, the sense of empathy that you feel, no, when, for example, a typhoon happens and you are at the front lines of what is really happening, no, and how a devastating event really devastates families, di ba? You see things at the ground level, which source of pride in the sense that you get the chance to report on it so that sana the word gets out there, and if ever the government has to do something or authorities, they're able to do something, no? So yung that mission na as a journalist, yung you're able to become a bridge, no, between society, and government, no, which has to do its mandate, of course, of serving the people. So I loved ako, for me, parang the 3 L's yan, no? The least, the last, and the lost. Of course, was for me a very important part of the job. So, even though, as they say, no, unless you are top anchor of the network, it is really a public service. You have to be prepared to make a sacrifice kasi it is no secret that the pay is low, by the way. So if you are planning to be a journalist, get in touch with me. I will give you advice. But, as a fresh graduate, I saw it as an important mission and an important part of my life that I will always be proud of. Kaya lang, at some point, I was called to a different direction, which is, of course, now the corporate world.
So your time as a journalist, it was really just the passion. It wasn't about the money. It was the responsibility of contributing to society, delivering objective news.
Well, of course, wait. I'd be a hypocrite naman to say if I did not think of the money, of course. Of course, like any journalist, you have to learn the ropes. But yes, the mission, of course, was the primary consideration. No? Na, of course, a lot of people would mistake journalism na, I don't know if it still is now, no? Na, but you enter journalism to be famous, etc. Because the moment you enter journalism to be famous, nako, you will really expect frustration because it's a lot of hard work. Diba? You have to put in so many hours.
The research.
The risks to your life, especially when you do dangerous coverages. Diba? So, when you become a journalist, your heart has to be at the right place. Always. Diba? But syempre, you are compensated naman. And you have to be compensated appropriately and properly as a journalist as well. But you only do that by learning the ropes and proving yourself and investing the number of years as well. So, there has to be that point, I think, now you will have to decide na, is this what I want to do for the long term? And I have the greatest admiration for those who have decided to stay in the industry for the long term. As for me naman, at some point, I would have stayed maybe, except that at some point, I realized that, sabi ko, teka, I'm being called to something else. So I decided to leave. Pero I always tell people, and I still believe in this, na once you are a journalist, you will always be a journalist.
At heart. No?
At heart, always. Kaya, yung you still see things happening in the country or all over the world, syempre, a part of you would want to report on it, to maybe interview people who make decisions, of course. You want to know things so that you can report them, so that you can understand them, in the hope, of course, of always making things better. Diba? So now, of course, like now, there's the war between Israel and Palestine, halimbawa, no? And a lot of journalists are risking their lives now in order to put the truth out there. So it's a very important mission right now, no? They're not doing that for the money, for sure, especially for the journalists who have families waiting for them at home. But it is important work.